Self-purification is the advice of all the enlightened ones because it is the one and only path to enlightenment. Although we call our body as ourselves, there is no self in the body. We think that our self is in our mind. There is no self even in the mind. Both our mind and our body are used by the self for its activities. Body and the mind are only vehicles of the self. But the self is not a thing, is nothing, not a thing. It is only a concept, it is only an idea that is referred to in the Buddhist teaching as Sakkaya Ditthi. Sakkaya is my group. Whatever that belongs to me, go to form myself, self of mine self. But that is only an illusion, only an idea. But it's a practical idea. For practical purpose, I am there, my body is there, my thinking is there, and I am using my body and my thinking. Although I may think they belong to me, in actuality, in reality, they don't belong to me. And we can't get hold of both our body and mind, if you were to look at it scientifically. Body is a flux. The mind is a flux. A series of events happening one after the other. Now, for example, the body is made out of atoms. Around the atom, electrons are rotating around the nucleus of the atom. They are rotating very quickly. We are uncertain where the electron is because that movement is so fast. Sometimes it is a wave, sometimes it is a particle. There's nothing we can hold on to as an atom. Not only electrons, but protons and neutrons also moving around themselves, rotating. Neutrons and protons are made out of quarks, according to scientists. They are also in a flux. Now, the latest theories, even the quarks are made of strings that are pulsating strings that are in motion. In fact, the entire universe is covered by motion. Light is a motion. Sound is a motion. Movement. Creativity. The basic nature of the world as realized the Buddha is its creativity that he referred to as anicca, impermanency. When something is creative, it is active, it is always changing its position. That change is called dukkha. Anicca dukkha, the triple nature of the reality of the world. If nothing can retain a permanent identity, if everything is changing, nothing can retain a permanent identity, that means anattata. No permanent soul, no permanent self. Nothing can have a permanent self. Nor can our body, nor can our mind. Mind is changing every moment. The body is changing. When we touch our body once, we can't touch it again because the body has changed. The body that we have touched. That is why the Greek philosopher called Heraclitus, who lived in the 5th century BC, said, "No one can step into the same river twice." According to him, when you step into the river and when you try to step into it second time, that river has gone away, the river that you step into on the first occasion. In fact, in reality, we can't step into a river even once, because when you think of stepping into a river and when we place our foot on the river that we thought of has already gone away and we are stepping into a different river. Such is the flux in the physical world, the changing in the physical world. Therefore, it shows even scientifically there is no permanent self either in our mind or in our body. We were very small babies, then small children, then youths, young ones, youths, and matured ones. Our body has been changing constantly. And our ideas also, thought process is also changing constantly. But we have a belief that we are living and I am a separate entity, separate from the rest of the society, rest of the world, rest of the universe, and that is myself. That idea. Idea is a mental formation. In fact, we cannot experience anything other than our ideas, mental creations. The entire world that we experience is not outside us, but inside us. We think we are inside the world, but in reality, as the Buddha said in the Rohitasa Sutta, the world is inside us, because we can experience only what our mind can form as pictures or forms, sounds, colors, taste, and so on. We think we are tasting something outside. We see something outside. We hear something outside. In fact, our eyes can see things outside, ears can hear things outside, and nose can smell things outside, and so on. But what we experience is not what the sense organs experience. We can experience only the mental formation, the reflection on the mind. For example, you are in front of a mirror and your reflection is there in the mirror. But although the image in the mirror looks like yourself, it is only an image, only an illusion. So it appears to be yourself inside the mirror. You are not inside the mirror, you are outside the mirror, but it looks as if you are inside the mirror. They are images. Similarly, the picture, the sounds and smells, taste formed in our mind are only images. They are not the actual reality, not the actual form, not the actual sound, not the actual smell, etc., not the actual taste. They are only mental pictures, mental images, mental formations. In fact, our mind is polluted by our mental images, whether they are good or bad. Bad images we dislike, we hate. Hatred is an evil in the mind, defilement of the mind. Pleasant things formed in the mind, we like them. To like or to be attached is also a mental defilement. The mind is always defiled by our thoughts. Thoughts are mental forms because it may like them, dislike them, or ignore them. Liking is called raga in Pali, disliking is called dosa in Pali, and ignorance is called moha in Pali. They defile the mind. Defile the mind by illusions created by them. All mental images are illusions, but we think them as real, and we like some of them, dislike some of them, and ignore some of them. By that, we are creating mental defilements. In fact, what we consider as ourselves is our mind. The mind is thinking, and you think I am thinking. The mind is suffering, and you think you are suffering. Mind is desiring something, and you think you are desiring. Therefore, what you call yourself is nothing other than your own mind. Therefore, self-purification is the purification of the mind. That means purifying the defilements in the mind. Through meditation, you go on defiling the mind, defilements. Or the mind can be removed little by little from moment to moment. Then comes a state that there is nothing to be removed from the mind. The mind becomes empty. That emptiness, that voidness of the mind is nothing but the Nirvana hidden in us. Nirvana is called sunyata, emptiness, because it is void, empty of all mental creations. Ending of mental creations at the Enlightenment was referred to by the Buddha at his first paean of joy, saying, Visankara gatan citta. Formation of images cease in the mind. That means the mind becomes empty. No thought formations. When there are no thoughts, no feelings also. The entire content of the mind is made by thoughts with associated feelings. When there are no thoughts and there are no feelings, no emotions, the mind becomes empty. An empty mind is a very blissful mind, because there you have nothing to think of. We think of things that are formed in our mind. And by thinking also, we form certain things in our mind. Thinking means a series of mental forms, mental images, passing one after the other. And cessation of those mental images means the screen of the mind is empty, void, and that is Nirvana. And it is inside us. When you really realize Nirvana, you realize there is nobody, no one, and there is nothingness, voidness. Sunyata means nothingness. No, nothingness means no thingness, no things in the mind. And that is the real nature of the ultimate self. It is wrong to say it is a self, but that is a universal self, different from the individual self. Every individual has an individual self, a concept, an idea as an individual. I am so and so. Separate unit. Once you are enlightened, there are no separate units inside your mind or the body. Both the mind and the body turn to be part and parcel of the same universe, same nature, become a part of the nature, become one with the nature. Without a doer, without a self, without the desire. Nirvana is called desirelessness in Pali, Tannakkaya, because when there is no self, no desire, there is no desiring also. It is that emptiness. Therefore, enlightenment means the ending of the self. Ending of the self means ending of the mind. The superficial mind, not the ultimate mind behind the individual mind. That original mind is not thinking, not feeling, no suffering, neither pleasant nor unpleasant, no neutral. It is there. That is why Buddha said, Nirvana is unborn. It is not a thing that is born in any. Ajata. Abhuta, it is not an event, not a happening. Akata is not something done by you. Asankata, it is not something that is composed out of things that are available. That is the original nature of the mind. It is the selfless self. Selfless means the self that has lost the individuality. Individuality had got dissolved in everything. Everything becomes yourself. You are in everything. Everything is in you and you are in everything. That is the ultimate reality. We are not separate individuals in the ultimate reality, though practical realities we are separate beings with a separate name, with a separate body, with a separate mind. But enlightenment means dissolution of all that separations caused by our own thinking. Therefore, purity of self or self-purification for enlightenment is nothing but the purification of the mind. That is why Buddha said all Buddhas advise the purification of one's own mind. Mind is the seat of our self. Sachitta pariyodapana, purify the mind. Then when the mind is purified, there cannot be a self in that particular mind. Remove the idea of self. It happens on the very first stage called sotapanna by the removal of that concept of self called sakkaya. Although the concept is removed, the tendency for the body and the mind to function as a separate individual lasts for several lives. But according to Ratana Sutra, not up to the 8th, only up to 7th, you can be reborn again and again. But in the 7th, you have to get enlightened, and the tendency of the individual self has to disappear and get dissolved in the universal soul. In Hinduism, it is called Paramatta. Atta means the individual self, Paramatma is the universal self. Even the universal, although we poetically say there is a self, it is also selfless. The sun gives us light and rain, expecting nothing return. Sun is not doing, it is happening naturally. Rivers flow, streams flow naturally. Trees grow naturally. Things happen naturally. Even in a body and mind, things happen naturally, that you realize there is no individual, no doer, things are happening only. And that is the end of the idea of self in you. And that is nothing but enlightenment.